Hello, everyone. This week I will talk about death, or just an aspect of it. Someone in my life lost a friend that meant a lot to them, but a friend they didn't know too well. They weren't too close. But the death was a huge impact on my friend's life. She felt a lot of pain about the loss, also about the tragedy. The person that died was in her 30s. And I think everyone would say too young, way too young. She had two little children who are now left behind without a mother. And it's the whole situation that I think brings the pain when someone dies. It's not just that one death. It is the life changed in so many ways, affecting so many people, and so many people hurting now and grieving. There's a lot of pain, it brings a lot of pain to a lot of people, and you see the suffering. You see, what one life affects, how much this one life can touch so many people. I don't think we're aware of how many people we touch, how many people would cry if they found out that we died. We tend to just think, don't have many friends, or I just have these few friends and this is my family and they'll be sad and that's it. But how many lives have you touched? How many people will hear about your death and be devastated because you said this one thing to them that one time that they will never forget, or you did this thing for them that they will never forget, or you made them feel something that meant a lot to them, and they will remember you for that feeling that you brought out in them. There's, countless encounters. And you see, so my friend felt immense pain at this loss, at the death, at how it happened, thinking about the family left behind, the two children left behind. I think about it and it's like, oh, it's terrible. It's terrible. I cried with her when I heard it, and I've never met this person, And she said, funny, I feel like I'm not allowed to feel this sad. Or not just I'm not allowed to, but people don't understand. Like, why am I grieving so much? Why am I crying so much? Why is this affecting me so much when I didn't really know her that well? Or I haven't seen her in a year or so. And, is my grief and my pain misplaced? Am I feeling too much? I got to hold it together. And I noticed that there are different ways of living and experiencing life. Not different ways, but just different grades almost. I guess depending on how open your heart is, knowing or not knowing. And this friend of mine who is now grieving her friend's death, her heart is pretty much the most open I've ever experienced in another person. It's sort of, I can sort of, I think of Ram Dass and his talks, and when I see the videos and the way he's open and there's this light that comes through him, like it's even though I've never met him, it's intense, and you can tell it's there. And my friend's like that. She's there, and no matter what happens, fully, the joy as much as the pain. She feels it. She's fully alive, and that's such a gift And it is something that is missing in a lot of people these days. You know why? Because feelings and emotions are very uncomfortable. And we forgot how to live with them. We don't know how to feel. A lot of people don't know what to do with their emotions, so they get pushed away. We hide them. We push them under the rug. And if someone around us feels, and feels openly, like my friend, it's uncomfortable. It's really uncomfortable. And they're just like, what are you doing? Like, you barely knew her. Like, why this outburst of feelings? Please, like, put them back where they belong. Like, we don't want to see this. It's scary, right? Because we can't control them. We can't control feelings. We can't control love. We can't control the heart. It's, you've got your ego, you've got your mind, you've got all this happening, and we can make lists and we can control and manipulate and, make it so that we have control, even though control doesn't exist. But we have the sense things are under control. Okay. And we show up like this in life for other people. We're put together, well put together, and we say the right things. Oh, good morning. How are you? How was your week? Oh, pleasant. Ha ha ha. Do you go through your whole expected social interaction all day with everyone the way it's meant to happen, and it's all good. And then you go back home, you're alone, and you're sitting, and you're like, it's all happening, and it's all internal. And don't, and you try and get rid of it. Don't sit with it. Can't sit with it. It's too much. I don't know what to do with it. Okay, let me drink so I can forget about it. Let me watch TV. Let me get lost in a movie or in a show so I don't have to deal with any of this that's happening. Right? It's too much. We don't know what to do with it, and no one tells us. Because what we're told is, hey, you meet someone, you put on a smile, right? And you say, how are you? And you answer, I am well, thank you. You don't say I'm not well. You say, I am well. Thank you very much. How are you? There is a whole script, sort of, like it's a whole, book of how to be human without, really living, without being in your heart. How does the mind say we have to behave? How does the ego say this is what we have to do? It's uncomfortable. Feelings, emotions are super uncomfortable, especially when we don't know what to do with them. So now you've got this person who is all emotion, all heart, and people are scared because they don't know what to do with that person, right? If someone's super emotional, they're like, oh, this person, like, she's all over the place. She's crazy. She's a mess. She's sick. She's weak. He's weak. He's sick. He's a mess. What's happening there? Oh my God. All these feelings coming up. Like, what's wrong with them? Right? It's ridiculous. Like, it's the funniest thing because, like, what? You're like, oh my God, like, we all feel it and we all hide it. Right? It can't come out. It made me so, like, I'm like, what? You are hurting. Someone passed away. Death is one of the scariest, most painful things that we can experience in this life. And you're hearing things like, why are you so upset? You didn't know her that well. Like, who says that? Like, oh my God, is this it? Why is this happening? When did this happen? How did this happen? Why are we hiding so much? And why is it so uncomfortable to see emotion, to see negative emotion? You see, when you're happy, you show it, you share it, you openly share it, and it's something to be proud of, right? If something good happens to you and you're happy, you share it to show others, look at me, look at how happy I am. The ego uses it to enhance itself, And I think so we get groomed into believing you're meant to be happy. And if you're not happy, there's something wrong with you. Because look around, look at all the people around. They're happy, and they will show you that they're happy, and they will show you their happiest moments, like social media, right? Biggest lie ever. And it's all just happiness. No one shares their pain, you know. Not on a personal page. There's no, oh God, I don't know, my I don't know, my toddler crapped in my bed last night. Like, no one shares that. But people will say, like, oh, my toddler are 2 years old, or I don't know how old they have to be, and, using a potty, and he's so advanced and he's fast. He's using his potty before everyone else, what a success, right? But that's it, right? We learn to just share the good stuff, right? Because that's something, let's be proud of it, right? Something good happened. I'm happy. I'll share it. This is good. This is great, which is good, but why are you doing it? And then why are you hiding the bad? You have to hide the bad. Even if you're someone who's open and who does share the bad, what happens is no reaction. No one does anything because it's uncomfortable. And you slowly learn, even then when you start out sharing, you learn, oh, people can't deal with me. I'm too much. I'm too much. My feelings are too much. I got to stop. I got to, hold it in, keep it together, pretend I'm okay. And then somehow on my own deal with the sadness, deal with the loss, deal with the fear. And it is so isolating, and it is so unhealthy for us to think that our emotions, when they're negative, that they're a bad thing, that we have to hide that. Because if we feel something bad, then there's something wrong with us. Why do we learn that? Why do our children learn that? I mean, I've done it. When I'm sad, I isolate myself and I try to not show my daughter that I'm sad. Because, oh, she can't know that I'm sad. God forbid, right? Because then she's worried. Oh my God, what's wrong with mommy? What's happening? Like it's a bad thing, and it gets hidden. And I was taught to hide it. Don't show your daughter you're sad. Don't cry in front of your daughter. You scare her. I was taught this, and I believed it, and I lived it. And now my daughter is scared to show her emotions. Now I gotta undo that. Now I gotta cry in front of her and be an absolute mess to show her, hey, I'm a mess. I'm really sad. I'm really struggling because 1, 2, 3. And I get really scared and I don't know what to do. But this is what is. And now how do I deal with it? How do we deal with it? I need a hug. Can you please hug me? And now I can show her that this is normal. We all feel like this sometimes. And now what matters is how I'm going to react, what I'm going to do about it. I'm going to lie down and feel like a victim and cry about it for I don't know how long until I feel better, or do I show her that, all right, well, I feel terrible. I'm going to drink now, I'm going to start drinking. I'm going to get angry at everyone around me. I'm going to go shopping, binge watch TV to forget about my pain and then just ignore it? Why do I teach her, hey, I'm really sad and I need a hug and togetherness, and thank you so much for being there for me, for allowing me to, show you my emotions. And now I can show you, you know what, it's okay to be like this. This and this happened. So it is very natural and normal for me to feel sad right now, for me to not be doing so well right now. That's okay. I need rest. I need a hug. And I just need to breathe. And I know tomorrow is going to be better. And thank you so much for being there for me, for seeing me. because my daughter is amazing. Amazing. When I'm sad, she will come and she will give me a hug and she'll tell me, Mom, it's okay to be sad. Everything will be all right. I'm always here for you. I got you. Sit and relax. I can get you something. What do you want? Do you need water? And water is actually always good when you're sad. Make sure you drink. Anyway, my point is we get taught that emotions are just negative emotions are a no-go. Don't show them. Don't show them. No one can deal with it. And when you are a deeply feeling person, a very sensitive, raw person, heart on your sleeves type of person, chances are that you've grown up thinking that you're too much. And people have always thought, like, why? What's wrong now? What now? All I've heard my whole life was like, what now, Judy? And I have felt too much, always too much. People didn't understand me. People pushed me away, couldn't deal with me, couldn't deal with my emotions. I couldn't deal with them. I didn't know what to do with them and where to put them. I didn't know. And no one taught me. No one told me. I was lost with myself. I was lost with my feelings. The good and the bad. The good, oh my God, like I can just sit there on my own and just tell myself stories or, narrate my life as I live it. And I'm just cracking up inside my head the whole time because I think I'm just the funniest thing, I'm just laughing always, or if there are people around, then I'll laugh and I'll share what I'm laughing about and everyone will be like, what? Like, that's not funny. That's just weird. Like, why are you laughing at that? And I'm just running around full of life and bubbling. And then I'm full of sadness and grief. And I'm really feeling that too. And people don't know what to do with it. Emotions are just not good. Are scary. Yeah. Scary because they can't be controlled. They're something else. They're not from here, they're from here, right? So icky, we're not taught what to do with it. Yeah. So my friend now has the struggle, not just of having lost a friend and really looking at death right now, about, oh my God, a life just gone. How did it happen? She was so young. My life could be over any minute. Nothing's promised. Tomorrow isn't promised to me. What am I doing? Who am I? What am I doing? Worrying about, I don't know, that my husband got mad at me for, I don't know, using his toothbrush. I don't know. Or, like whatever your biggest problem is right now. And you're like, what am I mad about? You forget the little things in life that actually matter. And you get lost in even money. You get lost in your job. And none of that you take with you. It's all gone. The only thing that remains sort of is how you've touched other people's lives, how they remember you, how you showed up. And death really brings that home, It really brings that home. When my friend said, I feel like I'm feeling too much. I'm grieving too much. I'm not, I feel like I don't have the right to because I didn't really know my friend. And I was like, what? Like, how do you measure? How do you measure connection? How do you measure how much someone means to you? You can meet a stranger on the street and something, a smile, or they notice, or you nearly tripped and they caught you, or just something so, like fleeting, and it stays with you forever because there was something else there. Right? You noticed something else. You felt something else. It's an energy. It's we are souls. There is something so much more profound than just, showing up, eating together. I mean, you can be closer to people that you've seen only a handful of times than your own family that you live with and see every day, because there is a deeper connection, or because you are deeper connected in life. There is almost, and at a certain level, there's no difference. That you are all one. We're all one. You can't say because this person I've only seen, 50 times and this person I've seen 100 times. So now I cry more about the person I've seen 100 times. What? And I use this example that I think would be very upsetting for lots of people. But and it just brings home the oneness, of what this whole life actually is. And I told my friend the story. I have horses, and they're in a paddock, and every day for a few weeks there was this duck couple, right, that made their way through the paddock every morning, to go to the dam, to go to a little lake, a pond. And every day they would waddle through, and you got the boy, and he's calling out to his wife, because I mean, in my mind, they were married, they made for life. So he called out to his wife, and he has the sweetest calling, it sounds almost like they're saying ma'am, or mum, like mama, it's this like, super cute. And I'm there, I'm feeding my horses, I'm grooming my horses, I'm doing whatever. And in the background, every day for a few weeks, and I'm watching them, and they're sort of waddling together. And then I noticed after a few days that the girl duck had a sore leg and she couldn't really walk so much anymore. So she started lying down near a tree stump while the male continued eating in the grass, whatever he was doing, picking, And then as he wanted to move on, he would call out to her again, and she would hop up and follow him, like waddling, And I was a bit concerned. I was worried because I get so attached to animals as they sort of enter my life, freely, completely. I mean, they're just wild ducks, but I know them. I then know them, and I know every day, at this time, exactly. That's when they come through. And I started to really build this connection, like a really strong emotional connection to them, as I do with so many birds around my home and whatever. Anyway, and I noticed she's sick, and it hurt my heart so much, like I really felt that pain and that worry. And even now, like I'm feeling it, thinking about it. And I was like, what do I do? What do I do? I have to do something, right? But I know, my ego, I have to do something. That poor thing, like, how is she going to survive? The wild is cruel, can be very cruel. I need to, can I catch her, take her to the vet? And in my heart, I knew, no, there's nothing you do. You watch. This is life, right? There's going to be the whole circle of life, the whole cycle, you are born, and then you grow old and die. And throughout life, there will be illness, there will be sickness, there will be injury, and there will be death. We can't escape. No one can escape it. No one. It is going to be there. And I watched. And I would go home and I would think about this duck throughout the day. I would think about her and I would send her love. And I almost, it's like I prayed and I held her in my heart and I hoped that she would be okay, And, the human mind sort of says, I hope she will be okay. I hope she will recover and be healthy and live forever, right? Because that's our happy ending. But from the heart, I knew I just wanted her to be okay in her sickness, in her pain, to be okay, to be in her pain, to, move through it consciously, which I'm sure she did because she's a duck. She doesn't get lost like we do. Yeah. And then after a few weeks, one day, I'm brushing my horses, and there's the duck, the male duck, the husband, and he's calling out really loud, He's really loud now. It's really intense. And my heart, and I just knew, I was like, no, and I look around and she was gone. She was gone, she passed away. And every time I tell the story, I cry. And I knew that day was going to come, and it's just part of life. It's just part of it. And that she was gone and she passed. And that was almost not even the main pain that I felt. Because, she was at peace now. She didn't have to worry anymore to eat, to move with her husband. She was at ease. She was free now. She was free. And I saw him, and he was all alone now, and he was really calling out, and he was going through the same motion, the same movement, the same track, and calling out really loudly. And he kept walking, and then he passed the paddock and went to the pond, and I could still hear him. I could still hear him call her. And I think that's what broke my heart, And I think that's what breaks our hearts when people around us pass. And even if they maybe weren't so close, but we see the pain that they leave behind, we see the grief and the pain in the people around them. And when a young mother dies, she leaves little children behind, and it hurts to think that they now have to live a life and know a life without a mother. That is a pain. That's a big pain, And I think there is space for that, I felt, and even, we were allowed to feel, like I'm allowed to feel pain about the ducks, this is what I mean. Like, people are going to say now, oh my God, is she comparing that duck dying to a woman dying and her children left behind? Like, how could she? That is so heartless, or that is so cruel, or what is wrong with her, right? I've heard that my whole life. But I think the heart is the same, How connected are you, and how far does this connection go? For me, on a certain level, there is no difference between you or a tree or a dog or a duck. On some level, there's no difference. And if you're connected to all of it, then you're going to feel all of it. And because I cried over a duck does not mean that I would not cry over a person, that it wouldn't touch me like that. Thing is, animals are so readily available. They're so, like, you look around and there they are. And there they are in their rawness. You wouldn't see a human walking around wobbling half dead. They hide. They're being hidden. You don't see death. You don't see illness. You don't see disease, sickness. You don't see it. If someone is injured or sick, they get locked away. Our old people are locked away. No one sees the aging process. That's a whole different topic again, that I don't want to get into right now. But being open and feeling life and feeling your emotions and having them out, not hidden away and, locked away and I'm not allowed to and I can't deal with it, but feeling it all. It's not a bad thing. And you're going to feel about animals. You're going to feel about nature. You're going to see it, and it's going to affect you because it is you. It's all part of you. The duck, I felt it. It happened to me. It's all just, there should never be a sort of like hierarchy of, like, this person is this close to you and that important or whatever, and you can now grieve this much. And this person, yeah, you knew a little bit. And so this is the amount of, this is the level of grief you can show here or have here, right? And this is an animal, so we're not really going to care about that. So we don't show grief. We show like, oh, yeah, oh, poor animal. And then that's it, right? Like, who says that? Who does that? It's ridiculous. And can I just say, the only reason I feel like I have the right to say this and to actually talk about the duck is because I lost my mother this year. Okay, my mother passed. And I think losing your mother is one of the biggest losses in someone's life. It's one where people like, well, okay, respect, right? This is the death where there is a lot of respect. Apart from you losing children, your own children, if you lose your mother, respect grief as much as you need. Do whatever you need to do. Anything is allowed, right? Because it's, society says that this is one of the big ones. We give you all the space. We give you you're free to grieve in whatever way it comes out, right? And I lost my mother and I felt the pain, and it was very similar to the duck. It was similar on a not personal level. When you go further as from the human, oh my God, it's my mother, right? All my memories, all the, like, who was she? What? And oh my God, like I can't even, I'm not going to get into that now, but it's immense, right? It's immense. It goes very deep, very deep. It is very, like, a lot of stuff comes up, right? Apart from me never having felt closer to her, after she passed, I felt her in a way I've never been with her, felt her before. Apart from that, when you just go a bit, higher from a soul level, maybe the pain, the loss, the grief felt the same as when that duck passed. And then the personal complicates it, and it becomes a grieving process on the human level where you have to then work through a lot of stuff, when it's the human and depending on how close they are to you. But funny, because I lost my mother, I feel like I have the right to now tell you, hey, I lost my mother. So I'm allowed to talk about this duck. Like, it gives me the permission, because I know what I'm talking about. But you don't need to lose your mother, and you don't need to lose anyone to feel strongly about any part of life changing and moving on. But any death, at the moment, there's so many roadworks where I live. They're building so many like housing estates, and they're knocking down trees like dominoes, and when I drive past and I see, oh my God, again, this whole huge area cleared of trees, like, I cry. I see them lying there and I cry. My heart aches. It aches for what we're doing, And at the same time, I see that there's so many people, there's so many homeless people, and there is so much need for more housing. And I want to live in a house. And I see that at the same time, I'm someone who feeds into that, why this is happening. Because I'm part of a society. I'm part of the human race, and we're expanding and we're growing. And there's no stopping us. And I'm not someone who stepped back and said, no, I don't want a part in this. I'm out. So I'm going to stop driving my car. I'm going to stop going to work. I'm going to stop living in a house. I'm going to move to the mountains, and I'm going to live off the grid, and do my own thing. And then maybe I have the right to sort of say, oh my God, poor trees, and I'm going to cry, right? But I'm not. I'm part of the problem. I think most of us are. We're part of the problem. Like we were outraged and we cry, but at the same time, we enjoy the comforts, right? We reap the benefits of bad people doing things that we don't approve of, but we're benefiting, right? But still, we feel it. We feel the pain, and when you open your heart, you're gonna feel it all of it. And there's no other way to live life. You have to. You have to open up. You have to feel. You have to love. You have to. It is your job on this earth to, despite the pain, despite of what's going on, despite of what you see out in the world, you have to open your heart and you have to feel everything, all of your feelings. And you need to embrace all of it. You need to embrace the destruction, the ripping out of trees to build more housing. The people who do it, why are they doing it? Yourself, the stuff in you that is still unresolved, your comfort of living in a house, of having AC in the summer and the heater in the winter, and your car and the gas you put in your car, and the convenience of driving it around instead of using the bicycle, and going to the hairdresser and using all these chemicals on your hair, and the clothes you buy, not thinking, oh, it's cheap, so I'm just going to buy it. And it comes from a, whatever they're called, sweatshop in India or wherever, where, they're taking advantage of children and people. And there's so much, right? But it's, at some point, just embrace it all, love it all, see the whole, all of it. There's nothing to fight. Nothing. There's only to recognize, right? Just recognize that for there to be light, there has to be the darkness. You can't know your light if you don't know the darkness. You will never know it. The light will be there and you will have no clue because you've not known the darkness. And slowly, just if you work every day on just being in your heart and being open and just feeling your emotions, please feel your emotions, all of them, the bad ones, just let them be there. Stop running, stop being uncomfortable with your emotions, with other people's emotions. Feel them, allow them. And you don't have to do anything. They don't have to be changed or fixed. Just feel it. Just like, like I'm hurting. There's pain. What is it? And look. We don't know how to look. Let them be there. Someone dies. There's going to be a lot of pain. There's going to be a lot of emotions. You're going to start looking suddenly at things that you haven't looked at before, or not in a very long time. How did this happen? Oh my God, I could die. I could die any moment. What have I done with my life? Who am I? What is important? Someone else is grieving a loss. Look at how uncomfortable you are with the pain of others. It is so uncomfortable. Why? Look at it. Look at yourself. Look at that discomfort. Where is it coming from? Why are you so scared of pain in other people? Let alone your own. This stuff is important. It's very important. It'll lead you to where you need to go, where you need to be and how you need to live your life. Because again, I'm like a broken record. It's the open heart, There's always, no matter, it's just always the last thing. Somehow it always leads back to that. You need to have this open heart. You need to understand that you can't have one without the other. It's not about being happy. It's not about finding happiness, everlasting happiness. It's not about something bad happening and you're tough and you can deal with it and ignoring it or making it go away and hoping for something good to happen so that you can forget about the bad. It's about allowing all of it. Allowing the sadness without needing it to go away. Or, twisting yourself into weird positions to make it go away. Or breathing it away. Breath work. Oh God, what a horrible day. I feel terrible. Something bad happened. Let me breathe it away, all these methods have their place. Yes, they're all beautiful, wonderful, amazing. I love it. Yoga and breath work and, sound music, sound therapy, whatever, all these things, they have their place and it's fantastic. Great. But don't you dare use them to make your negative emotions go away. Don't you dare use them to bypass your humanity, to bypass the fullness of your life. They're there to bring you into unity so that you can feel what you are, so you can feel into your heart and be more present. This is not about always being happy and making the sadness go away, making the grief go away. The grief needs to be there. The sadness needs to be there. The anger needs to be there. You need to go into them. You need to befriend them. You need to be able to live with them so that they don't control you, so that you're not living, rushing around trying to make them go away because you can't cope. And if someone else feels them and shows them, then, no, stay away from me. Bad energy, or I don't want that. I don't want to have to, feel that. Because then aren't you a prisoner again to your positive feelings now? That I need to be positive. I'm spiritual now, right? So that means I'm always happy. And I'm always calm and peaceful. And I will only share the good, right? And we're all blissful, and no matter what you say or do, you can't, I'm untouched, and I will always be graceful and, treat others well, and I'm soft-spoken, this is it, right? Now I am spiritual. This is it. I have arrived. My life is now perfect. That's not it. That's bypassing. That is denying yourself your own humanity, your own fullness of heart. This is a shutting down of what you are. It needs to all be there. You need to embrace all of it, and you need to be able to live through it all and with it all through, like really in it, you need to be in your sadness. You need to be in your grief fully. You need to not care about scaring other people. And no one is allowed to tell you how much you're meant to feel and how much is too much and what's appropriate and what's not appropriate. That the mind has no business here at all. Feel it all. Allow yourself the freedom to be completely 100% you in your heart. You go inside. And as you allow it all, something in you will soften, right? Something will emerge with the allowance of it all coming up and being allowed to be there, and you looking at it. There is this awareness of the pain, the awareness of what is there, good and bad. What is all of this in me that I am? With that comes something else up, something else rises. And it is these spaces in between the emotions the thoughts, the movement, where you then bring something through you into this world that is so much more, so much bigger than all of this, than all of your emotions, any of the emotions, all of them, any of them. And it is that, I like to call it just unconditional love. It is that which then sort of embraces the whole. And it is that which helps you graciously move through it all, move through your humanness, because it is not of this world. It is not a human quality. It is not of this plane, of this earthly living, dying, up and down plane. It is something else. And it is that which people have a hard time to point to. And it is also that which people who have a closed heart say, ugh, not this spirituality crap again, right? Like the, angels and, snowflakes and rainbows and whatever. And they're just like, oh God, go stay away from me with this stuff, I believe in science. Stay soft, stay open, that there's something else. If you can't believe, if you don't trust, or you don't know what I'm talking about, just know that there's something out there and in you that is bigger than what you can understand and comprehend right now. And I think everyone knows somehow that there is something there. And we just can't really grasp it, or it's just a bit too much. And we're just like, no. I'm just going to go back to my science book or my TV show, and it's too much for me. I can't deal with this right now. But everyone, I think, knows that there's something there that we can't really understand, something that breathes our breath, that beats our heart, something, a connection with another person that makes no sense, fleeting, what moves all this, what beats your heart? There's something, and we all, everyone sort of knows. And the key is just breathe. Just allow things to happen. Allow yourself to be human. Feel your feelings. Allow it. Look at them. Look at how uncomfortable you get when you're sad, when something bad happens, and now people are grieving or crying, children throwing tantrums. We get so uncomfortable, and we want to fix it and we want to change it. And look at that. Why is that? Why can't we be balanced and just, this is what life is bringing. Now we're happy. Everyone's laughing. This is what life is bringing. You don't have to cling to it and say, we always have to be like this. We always have to laugh. That's how life is meant to be. And then when we're not laughing, it's like, oh, now we're going to try whatever, everything to make us laugh again, because we have to be laughing always. And just relax, let go. Just be fully, all of it. You are limiting your experience in life by clinging to the good and avoiding the bad. There is so much richness in the dark side, in the bad feelings. There's a lot of stuff, a lot of grace, a lot of love that we need to have an open heart, to be able to connect, to be present, to be fully present for the whole experience, not just for the experience we pick, right? Not just for the good, for all of it. And think about that, recognize that, right? What's wrong with crying and being sad, feeling heartbroken, feeling betrayed. What's wrong with that? How can it be wrong when every single human being feels that? It's part of our life. And if we deny that, and if we say, I don't accept and I don't want it, you're going to fight with life and you're going to be miserable. It's going to happen. It's happening. It'll keep happening. It's okay. It's part of the journey, It's like the roller coaster, before it goes down, it has to go up. It goes up, 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 and then whee, and the crash happens. And yeah, for some people it's good fun. For other people, they get scared. I don't know. The loops, and then you slow down to speed up again. And, it's, you can't just have the one experience. It has to, all of it goes together, the whole movement. The up and down, the slow and fast. It needs to happen both so that we can understand, oh, there is happiness. How do you know there's happiness? How do you know you're happy? Because you've been sad. You can't know happiness without the sadness. You can't. We can't know it. And maybe if you can allow yourself to be really sad and to really, really feel into the sadness, maybe that opens something up. Maybe that deepens something in you that then allows you to feel its opposite. A really, really, really big happiness. Something that you'd never thought possible, So you open yourself up for the good, for love, and you're going to open yourself up for its opposite, and that's okay, and that's good, and that's all part of life, Yeah. So again, just open your heart, soften your heart, allow it all to happen. You're okay. You're safe. You are safe. We are safe. And I need to tell myself this because I forget. I'm not saying this because this is my life and my life experience. I get lost. I get lost in my pain. I sometimes think, oh God, I will never recover from this. This is it. I will never have an open heart. My heart will keep closing and it'll never stay open, and I can't do it. What am I saying here? I'm telling people live like this and I can't do it. I can't do it. And I try and I try and I try. And I think that's just it. Just try. Keep doing it. I keep softening my heart and I keep opening it. And that's all I can do. And that's all we can do. Just do your best every day, over and over again. It's not a one-time job. You don't do it one time and then that's it. You do it over and over and over again because something in you knows that this is the only thing that will matter in my life. It is the only thing that will make a difference. That's the only thing that when I die, that I will look back and it is the only thing that I will remember and I will be grateful for that I did that, or that I was able to share that I had an open heart, that I showed up with love, that I showed compassion, that I changed someone's life for the better just by showing kindness, compassion, connection, presence, that I was present. There's nothing else you're going to, even with your kids, you're not going to remember the things you bought them, the money you spent on them, the movies you watched with them. You're not going to remember the money you made, the car you drove, the celebrations, the way people celebrated you, and this stuff. None of it is going to matter. What's going to matter is the impact, the connection that you built, that you had, the presence, the being present with another soul, the being there for your children when they needed you, the giving of love, the compassion you showed another human being, the kindness you gave. That's what you'll remember. And that's what you'll be grateful for. And that's what you'll remember about other people. You don't remember what they bought you or what presents you got from whom or the job someone did and how much money they made, you will remember how they treated you. You will remember the connection that was there with them. You'll remember the time when you thought you were done and you were crying and they were there and they held you, or they were a shoulder for you to cry on. That's what you'll remember. You'll remember the extended hand, the compassionate smile, the kind words. This is what you'll remember. And that comes from your open heart. That comes from love. That does not come from the mind, from the ego. From here, you're going to get fear. All the fear responses are from here, and all the controlling now and how to make it better and how to be safe comes from here. And all the loving and all the giving comes from here. And that's where you want to live from. That's where we want to be. And so when someone dies, you're going to feel pain, a lot of pain. And the more you feel, the more open you are. And it's okay and it's good. Feel it all. It's almost like the pain is the indicator of how open you are to life. And now you just learn to live with it and you allow it. And nothing will happen to you. You're completely safe, and you'll learn. The more you do it, you'll learn. I am safe in my emotions. They can't really touch me. And I'm safe to hold them all, to take care of them, to allow them instead of pushing them away. I can take all of it. I can take all of it. Yeah. So yeah, wake up, live, feel, be vulnerable, be really vulnerable, and notice how you will wake up and come to life, really, instead of living in fear and hiding like a turtle in their shell, and you're never really living your life and never really there. Be there, be vulnerable, get hurt, go get hurt and notice what a gift it is.